From a licensed doctor who performed a full drunk impression in open court, to a woman who had to read out an entire list of stolen toys.
Making love oil, flavors strawberry and champagne, order forms.
These are the craziest cases ever to walk through Judge Judy's courtroom, starting with one of the most satisfying moments in JJ's history. A girl came in claiming 2 men had stolen her purse, so she starts listing everything that was inside: her wallet, her phone, car keys, and then she mentions an earpiece.
I had gift cards in there, my earpiece.
That's when one of the defendants leaned forward and said something so unbelievably stupid it almost didn't seem real.
There was no earpiece in her mouth.
I love it. The dude just confessed in front of a judge on national television without anybody even asking him anything. There was nothing left to argue. The man opened his own mouth and ended the case in under 10 seconds. Judge Judy didn't even need to deliberate. She awarded $500 to the plaintiff and sent the thieves packing.
Judging for the plaintiff for the amount of $500.
Man, that has got to be the fastest self-destruction in the history of American law. But accidentally confessing to theft at least shows some awareness of what you did wrong. This next woman had no awareness, none at all. Kelly Filkins listed 2 cell phones on eBay. A buyer paid for them, waited for delivery, and received a package in the mail.
We purchased 2 i580 cell phones.
Inside of that package wasn't 2 phones, it was a photograph of 2 phones.
And I got these 2 sheets of paper.
Now, believe it or not, that's not even the craziest part of this case. Not only did Kelly Filkins decide that the best way to fulfill the order was to print out a picture of the item, stuff it into an envelope and mail it, she also saw absolutely nothing wrong with doing that.
It states very clearly in the auction that this is for...
When Judge Judy asked her to explain how on earth she thought this was acceptable, Filkins actually tried to argue her case. She wasn't embarrassed, she wasn't apologetic, she was confused about why everybody was so upset.
You're an idiot and a scammer.
Even after Judy explained, slowly, that a picture of a product isn't the product itself, Filkins still looked like she was the one being wronged. She walked out having been outsmarted by a concept most people grasp by, age 7. But as disillusional as that was, this next case proves that some people will sue over absolutely anything, and I mean anything. Lisa Reed came to court to sue her friend Barbara Loth, and the charge might just be the craziest thing you've ever heard. Apparently, Barbara sat on Lisa's toilet for 20 minutes, and it cracked.
She must have fell on it. Fell on it.
So, to recap, somebody sat on the toilet broke, and now there's a lawsuit.
Because she's responsible. You break something, you pay for it.
Unbelievable. Judy had to hear from Barbara just how on earth she broke that toilet.
What happened was I just went down and sat on the toilet.
Lisa made it sound like Barbara had intentionally broken the toilet, but clearly that wasn't the case. Even after Judy's entire line of questioning made it obvious that there was no case here, Lisa still thought she had a shot. Yeah, Judy was done with this whole conversation. She told Lisa that she's stupid and needs to grow up right before dismissing the case.
Toilets break. I had one just break in my apartment last week. Cost me $650 to put in a new toilet. You think I went around to try to find the last person who sat on it? Be stupid. Grow up. That's all.
And with that, the case collapsed just like the toilet did, under the weight of its own ridiculousness. Lisa walked out with nothing. Barbara walked out having been publicly accused of breaking a toilet on national TV, which honestly is its own special kind of punishment. Okay, a toilet lawsuit is pretty much the ground floor of human pettiness. Or so you would think. But this next woman had a completely legitimate case, ironclad evidence, and still managed to hand Judy no choice but to throw it all out. Kim Noller ran a motorcycle rental business and came to court to collect what she was owed. Simple case. Should have been completely straightforward. But Kim had a problem. She could not stop talking.
I think that
called
you
3
are,
days later.
I think that
He
you
canceled 3 days
listen to-
later.
Judy warned her not to interrupt, but Kim just kept on going. The words "no refunds" came out of her mouth so many times and at such volume that they seemed to bounce off the walls and echo back twice as loud.
My policy is no refunds.
Miss Nola. Miss
It's in my
Nola.
policy.
I'm talking, you're not.
Even after being warned twice, she still couldn't stop. The words "no refunds" kept on coming out of her mouth like, I don't know, verbal diarrhea.
Why did he drop the dispute?
If you're going to talk over me, I'm going to throw you out of
Why
here
did
and
he
not
drop
even
the dispute?
explain.
Well, Judy ended up dismissing the case. Not because Kim was wrong on the law, not because the evidence wasn't there, but because she wouldn't stop talking long enough for justice to be administered.
It understood the policy.
Goodbye. Your case is dismissed.
That's
We're
great.
done.
This has got to be one of the most self-inflicted defeats in the entire show's history. Kim lost a winnable case just by talking, but at least she knew how to act like a kind of normal person, unlike our next case. Dr. Noel Howell walked into Judge Judy's courtroom composed, well-spoken, and credible. The case itself was also pretty straightforward. The plaintiff was claiming the other party had shown up drunk and caused a disturbance.
Well, she was drinking and her behavior would lead me to be
This led Judy to ask Dr. Howell to describe what the plaintiff looked like in that state.
intoxicated, but I
Give me an example.
Everything was going smooth until Judy asked him for an example, and he gave her one in the most unhinged way anybody in that room had ever seen.
and she was like, why? Why?
This man, a professional, launched into the most committed impression of a drunk person that has ever been performed in a court of law. Judy had to shut it down immediately because the entire courtroom just lost it.
I got it. I got
Yes.
it.
Even his own witness, somebody who came to support him, couldn't keep a straight face. The entire courtroom was somewhere between surprised and stunned and in tears.
Like, Melissa, what's going on? And then she was like,
This became one of the most watched moments in the show's entire run. A doctor losing his composure is chaotic, sure, but at least it was funny. This next case stopped being funny the moment a weapon got involved. Katrina Roy sued her former landlord claiming she had been viciously assaulted. The weapon of choice? Tupperware.
And forced all of her Tupperware on me like.
Roy claimed her landlord opened a whole cupboard worth of plastic containers and unleashed them directly into her body with apparently devastating force.
Tupperware cupboard, and with all of her force, threw it on me, and I was standing behind her.
She described it like a scene from an action movie. Containers flying everywhere, total chaos, a full-scale domestic assault carried out entirely in food storage products.
Because of this, I mean, the way I physically felt, okay, was just like somebody just ripped I just felt hollow in here. I did not feel stable at all.
Well, Judge Judy wasn't buying it. She assessed Karina Roy as what the psychological community would call histrionic. Somebody whose experience of events tends to get dramatically amplified somewhere between the incident and the retelling. Roy still ended up getting around $200 as a settlement for her broken Tupperware though, so a win?
$199.92. That you are entitled to. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $199.92.
Roy walked away with $200 and a diagnosis. But as delusional as that was, nothing prepares you for a case where the danger was completely real and the man responsible was sitting right there in the courtroom the entire time. A woman walked into the courtroom claiming that she was pepper sprayed by her husband's mistress.
So, in the middle of fighting, she pulled out pepper spray, maced me, ran.
Sitting directly behind the defendant was the husband, present for a lawsuit between the two women in his life. Awkward.
You to get a protective order against.
Judy wanted to hear the mistress's side of the story too, and sure enough, she confirmed having pepper sprayed the poor wife.
Jordan White accused me of swinging at her and missed. She held me down and I
And even after pepper spraying the lady, she still wasn't done. She showed up at the wife's job, sent her pictures of her gun, and somehow still thought that she was the wronged party.
Because she filed a protective order. She went down and filed a false police claim saying that I was riding around.
Why on earth would you send somebody pictures of a gun over an unemployed man? Judy had to ask her.
Got me to subpoena because she gave them my work address.
I want to know how you...
Honestly, that interaction alone kind of tells you everything that you need to know. Judy ended the case with some extremely valuable advice to the wife, telling her to pick a winner next time.
Protective order. Did you see Miss White?
Yes, ma'am.
Pepper spray, gun pictures, and a cheating husband all in one room. You would think that would be the peak of pettiness, right? Well, this next case proves that the most unhinged disputes on this show have nothing to do with relationships. Sometimes all it takes is a missing container of salad dressing. A man sued a restaurant. No, not for food poisoning or for finding something unexpected in his meal. He sued because they forgot to include the extra dressing he had ordered on the side.
And they didn't send the extra dressing.
They didn't send any dressing.
This was apparently a major problem for this man, but he dealt with it by demanding credit from the restaurant. When they denied him that, he ordered a sandwich with extra dressing to his house and slammed the door shut on the delivery guy's face, yelling and telling him that he had credit.
Driver got there, I said, "We have a credit," and I shut the door.
Very grown up of you.
Well, the restaurant didn't exactly take this lying down either. Instead of issuing a refund or a simple apology, they went to his car and his home and vandalized both of them.
And they also have repairs.
Let me see the bills.
A missing container of salad dressing had somehow escalated into a multi-location property destruction campaign. The plaintiff wanted damages for what they had done. The restaurant wanted the $12 he still owed on his bill. Honestly, only Judy could have sorted this one out.
$129.23 less 12.
He won $223 in damages and was immediately ordered to pay back the $12 for his meal. A salad dressing dispute that ended in vandalism and a courtroom showdown. That kind of feels like the ceiling, right? But as petty as that was, this last case takes everything you've seen today and raises the crazy bar entirely, because this final plaintiff had to stand in open court and do something that nobody in that room was remotely prepared for. A plaintiff walked into court running a very specific kind of business: adult novelty parties. If you're wondering what those are, they're normal parties with a very interesting theme and expansive inventory. Yeah.
We go into homes and hold parties for adults with lotions and potions and vibrators.
She was suing over stolen inventory, and in order to prove her losses in court, she had to stand before Judge Judy and read out loud every single missing item. Every single one of them.
The bull whip, one of a set of 2 C-rings, 10 catalogs, making love oil, flavors strawberry and champagne, order forms, the diving dolphin, good head.
I don't even want to ask.
And oh, Lord Almighty, that list went on and on and on. But then she got to the last item, a used return product that...
We use as tasters at our shows. The eager beaver, which appeared to be used. So that may have been used, but we would have appreciated that to have been cleaned up.
That's got to be the most awkward 60 seconds of Judge Judy's life, listening to this woman say the names of every item she sells and describe how they weren't clean when they were given back to her. Ugh.
Taste was broke.
Love the sigh at the end though, just the whole "I'm getting too old for this" energy. That's Judge Judy. 30 years, thousands of cases, and somehow every single time it manages to get crazier.